Ladies and gentlemen, what an exciting time, man. I get so excited to be sitting here in the hot seat, just living life. Like, what an opportunity that we get to just be here right now in a moment and share time together. I have Max Fisher sitting across from me, man. And let me tell you, I started off knowing Matt through networking events and smoozing people and having this like image of yourself when you're talking, but there's nothing like sitting face to face and really just being real, being raw, being authentic. And every time that I sit with Max, the times that I've sat with Max, like it's we get to be like an honest man about life on where we're at and how we see it versus any kind of perception or look that we need to portray. Like it all that stuff goes out the window. We get to see it feels like almost in the soul and just have a real conversation. So we're sitting here today to just share a conversation with you, and it's my promise to only speak when my words bring value. So I wouldn't bring Max Fisher on the podcast show here to for no reason. Like I feel it in my heart. I've already experienced it to where I'm sitting in tears or I'm just feeling highs and lows like all in one conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Max Fisher to the podcast. Max, what's up, man?
Thanks for having me on. Been a good friend, and
Oh,
I'm excited to be here today and chop it up.
yeah, that's exciting, man. That's excited, man. So first things first, like bring me up to speed. The last time we talked, it feels like maybe 2 years ago. Like when were we sitting there? And you're bringing me up to like life changes that's given you a new profound perspective. And man, so I think it was running that you were talking about that you were getting into. Are you still running right now?
Yeah, I'm still running. I think that was a few years ago. I got into running. Had a couple back injuries, couple back surgeries, and basically I was really into the gym and strength training at the time, and it really made me less mobile. And but I found some peace and a passion in running, and never looked back. So it's been great for me.
That's
Eh,
exciting, man. How is like running for me, it's the endorphins or the dopamine, like you just
Yeah,
unlock these new channels. Like there's times that I've say that I felt the presence of God, but there's this feeling of like when I'm running and I just feel so connected to the universe, bro. Like
yeah,
things flow in and out. Like my the solutions to my problems get clear. Like I have the new energy like back. Like it is a way to pull yourself out of a rut every single day.
for sure. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that happen, endorphins and different hormones and all that. And usually, I mean, everyone's heard of like runner's high.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most people, including myself, feel that like around like 4 or 5 miles in,
Mm.
just something happens with your body at that 4 to 5 mile um, range. There, you get clarity. You feel great. You kind of have a high too. And yeah, it's a way to kind of just defocus and focus,
Right.
clear your mind. A lot of solutions to whatever challenges or problems that we're facing in our work life or our personal life or whatever it may be.
Right.
Um, there's just something about it that kind of just comes together at that point.
Did you so coming from back injuries, like I've experienced like I stopped putting weight like as squatting.
Yeah,
Like it's just not in my lifestyle anymore and I'm okay with it.
same.
And so with that, like I don't know if my body's not meant for it. I don't know if I'm crooked in the back or whatever it is, it's just not working out.
Yeah.
So with that, like the times I have injured stuff in my back, I
Hmm.
know that like I still like to run because I like to get to that special place as well.
Yeah.
But then I'll find trouble because of the like pounding
Mm.
that I'm running and I'll still feel the shake like in my sciatica or lower back, things like that. So,
Yeah.
did you have to like figure out certain specific shoes and like how did you just like did you go from one day to the next or did you have to start slow?
I think a big part of it is like a gradual build up
Okay.
for sure. You don't want to just go out and run a marathon in 4 weeks type of
Right.
thing. Like your body's going to adjust to all this stuff. It's just like strength training. Like you can't just go out there and squat 400 pounds.
Right.
Like your body is going to adjust that over a period of usually years.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, shoes are important as well. I think most importantly, listening to your body. And I think part of the reason I ended up with those back injuries because I wasn't listening to
Right.
my body, and I tend to be that kind of person where I push and I push and I push too hard, and um, so I think a big part of it is listening to your body for sure. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Man, you look lean as shit too. Is that like strictly running or how are you eating now too?
Yeah, well, I run and I do calisthenics,
Okay.
so push-ups, pull-ups, sometimes lunges, some like machines,
Right.
but no squatting, no deadlifting. Every now and then I'll bench, but yeah, for the most part, running. I'll do the bike too. I love the sauna.
Right.
Probably should be swimming, but don't really get into it. So
Dude, but that's like basically if the world shut down, like you could still figure out your life as long as you can run and like you have a
yeah,
regimen down that you're not like if your gym closed or something like that, it didn't matter. Like you're
for
still
sure.
gonna figure out how to stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons I love it is because I can do it wherever too.
Right. Right. That's good stuff, man. Well, it seems like it's translating everywhere in your life. Tell me a little bit about so when we talked before that, I've initially met you in like residential real estate.
Uh-huh.
Then seen that you've transferred over in the commercial world and like doing commercial real estate. Like how is that world in a time like right now? Like I know that we struggle in the residential world just because
Sure.
interest rates and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
in the commercial world, like what is like what's that concept even like?
I would say the patterns are probably pretty similar
Okay.
in like, we've experienced transaction volume reduction just like residential. I think I think a lot of it translates back to the endurance
Right.
as well. Like you got to keep going, you got to be prepared to handle the peaks and the valleys. And staying consistent with prospecting or marketing
Right.
or lead gen, all that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty parallel. Um, yeah, I mean, I think they're the it's the differences. The main differences, in my opinion, are like while you do have less competition in terms of like commercial real estate agents, you also have a shallower pool in
Mm,
terms of transaction volume.
right.
So it's kind of checks and balances there.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting. What is it like? Like I feel like in a buyer in the residential world, you have to figure out their needs and wants
Hmm.
based off of like their family and stuff like that.
Sure.
In your world, it sounds like you got to tap in to figure out what their business is like to point them in the right direction. So you're learning a lot of business types because commercial could be anything.
Yeah. So what I specifically focus on is warehouses,
Uh huh.
and so basically, like your first year or two is just a huge learning curve. It's really difficult to get clients. I would say that's a huge difference between residential and commercial. It's just the first year, the first 2 years are just brutal.
Right.
Like I built up a significant amount of debt
Right.
and had to weather that storm and get through it, and then finally was making money. Um, but in terms of like what clients are looking for and what they're not looking for, I think the only way to figure that out is kind of baptism by fire.
Right.
Like you're in it, you have a client that, maybe has been running their business for 30 years and maybe they give you a chance and you screw it up. They're not going to work with you anymore, but you learned how to not screw that opportunity up in the future.
Right.
I think that's the first year or two. But like they're going to have different requirements and the longer you're in the business, the more efficient you become at qualifying those, understanding those, knowing the right
Mm,
questions, knowing where not to spend your time, knowing
right.
where to spend your time.
Right.
So for example, if you have a client that is manufacturing, like I know the most important thing to them is going to be electricity.
Uh huh.
And it takes years to understand electricity and how it correlates to each type of manufacturing
Right.
equipment. So now I'm at a point where, like, if someone comes to me and I know they manufacture a certain product, I kind of already know, like, they're probably going to need 480 volt power. They're
Mm,
going to need, 400 amps. Um, all that different stuff, and I know the right questions to ask to make that deal more efficiently, and most importantly, to establish a rapport with that client so they know what I'm talking about, and then we can get them in the right position.
That's exciting because makes you the expert in that field, even though it's
Yeah,
not your business, but you still know about it and what they're gonna need, so that way
right.
you're saving them time down the road if they get in there and then they realize, like, the problems come later, but it's something they didn't see.
Saving time,
Right,
saving money,
right,
huge too. Like if you get them in the wrong building with the wrong electricity and they have to do some type of upgrade, that could be 50 grand.
right,
So, yeah, and I think that's a huge differentiator in commercial too, in that like I mean, you don't necessarily not want to, but I think it's better to specialize in a certain asset class. There are brokers who specialize in apartment complexes, industrial, retail, office, and then there are even some more specialized stuff like hospitality or land, that kind of stuff. But once you kind of brand yourself with that product type, your name kind of becomes synonymous with that product type, then I think more people seek you out rather than you having to seek them out because you are a specialist and you're not just commercial real estate.
right, 100%. So if I think of a warehouse, I'm gonna think of you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I've done a good enough job to for people to think Max, Fisher, and a warehouse.
100%.
That's
Like
my
those,
goal.
and that's a good topic to segue into because we're like now we're into like social media and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
how has that been for you? Because that's I am turned on by your the content that you put out. So I could
Yeah.
imagine that like that helps by doing the walkthroughs and the warehouses and the talks and what's up and coming and stuff like that. Like what has social media been for you and your business?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lead generator for me. I think most importantly, it's kind of been a branding mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I started, my whole goal was I want to be omnipresent
Right.
with warehouses. So, like, I think every different channel has a different audience.
Right.
So, for example, Instagram. I've generated leads, closed deals through Instagram. That's mostly going to be like your local business owners,
Right.
right? Like your roofers, your electricians, your contractors. They may follow your stories on there and see like your upcoming listings or the content you put out about the market or whatever it may be. Same thing with like Facebook. Um, LinkedIn, you're probably hitting some of those local owners. There's also investors out
Right.
there. There's also investment groups out there. And then a huge thing that's been probably my biggest asset in terms of marketing and lead gen has been my website.
Uh-huh.
Like I really drilled down on SEO and Google AdWords. And so my whole thought process was like, there are people out there that are actively looking for warehouses.
Right.
And if I can capture that lead as it's warm and they're actively looking, like
Right.
that's a great qualified
Right.
active lead. So my website is industrialtucson.com. I
Okay.
built it myself. I spend like 20-30 bucks a month just
Okay.
to run that site.
Right.
Um, I consistently blog on there, and I use certain keywords that are prevalent to Tucson
Right.
and warehouses and industrial space. The more I blog on that site, the more Google shows me organically. Like if you're at a computer right now or just pull out your phone and look up like industrial real estate in Tucson, like my website should show up first. And that's like crazy leverage in that I'm spending 30 bucks a month to generate leads.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's my
It's like
whole thought process on it.
literally if someone's gonna type up industrial in Tucson, like if that's the concept that's coming out of their brain,
Yeah.
you'll pop up because you have everything written within Tucson. It says warehouse, like all the words are in there, not
Yeah.
only the website itself.
Right. And I try and put myself in my target customer's shoes in that, like, are they searching for industrial space in Tucson or are they searching for warehouses for lease in Tucson? So then I'm also putting that keyword, warehouse for lease or warehouse for sale in Tucson and hopefully showing up when they go to search and then they click on my site and they call me.
That's exciting. How is like video been for you? Are you doing your own editing? Just how is like trying to find? Are you watching other videos to see how they're doing it, and then just kind of mimicking the stuff they're talking about? Like where? 'Cause it like TikTok, stuff like that, like those little video the reels,
Mhm.
like, that comes from somewhere. Like, where are you finding your inspiration to go out there and do your own stuff?
I think just kind of like thinking about like just stuff that I do on a daily
Mhm.
basis that may be different or ultimately like adds value to whoever's watching it.
That's fair.
As far as like video editing, just like on my phone, like
Yep.
I don't have any
Right.
video editing like software.
Right.
Like to me, it's a lot of time,
Right.
and so I just try and keep it simple and direct and add value to
Right.
it to whoever may be watching it.
Right, and I think that way is the most authentic value, like, personally. Like, in
Mhm.
my opinion,
Yeah,
if you over shine it up, like,
for
it
sure.
you lose it, you know?
Yeah,
And if you just stick to the value,
yeah.
then that's where you can keep people's attention. Like, that was raw, that was valuable, I
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
Now it's exciting. What's the weirdest thing you've, like, come across in the warehouse? And the reason I thought of that is because just Tucson with, like, people, like, the homeless people, stuff like that, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
how has that been? Because like, I feel like you always gotta know what corner you're turning
for
and
sure.
stuff like that, like, just paying
Yeah.
attention to that.
It's yeah, so I mean you think about an industrial market in any market, not necessarily just Tucson, whether it be Phoenix or Dallas or LA or whatever. You think about your industrial markets, like, dude, you're gonna find some really rough stuff
Right.
and some weird situations. Yeah, I mean, I've been in buildings multiple times when there's like actively people in there like stripping copper
Huh.
or like breaking in and
Right.
stealing stuff. So I've been in those situations a few times. As far as like I think it more comes down to trying to avoid those
Right.
situations rather than take the risk, be involved, and try and figure it out from
Right.
there. So there's been plenty of times where something hasn't felt right, or I know what's going on,
Right.
and I'm gonna keep going or call the police
Right.
or have them handle it or whatever. But yeah, you definitely encounter some wild stuff. I mean, you think about, Grant and I-10.
Right.
That's one of our biggest markets, which has changed a lot over the last few years. You think about like Park and Ajo, Palo Verde Ajo, 22nd and Park. Like those are our biggest industrial markets. Um, so yeah, you're gonna encounter some stuff. You're also gonna find some really great food trucks and snorting hot dogs. So it's got its checks and balances.
100%, a
Yeah,
100%. No,
yeah.
that's exciting, dude. That's exciting. So going back to like lessons that you've learned, what's a hard lesson that you think you've come across that you just fucked something up, or like you just missed the boat on something, and or who knows, maybe even it's in the industrial side and something happened in the building or something like that. It's just costly. You know what I mean? Just something that you'd have to
Oh
like.
gosh.
What's something that people don't think about, but it
I
happens.
think people don't think about like how difficult this business is to
Right.
start in.
Right.
It's not something where you can say like, just get your license and then be like, you know, tell your friends and family and what do you call it, your sphere of
Right.
influence. It's a very difficult lift off.
Right.
Um, there's a lot of I've spent countless hours cold calling,
Uh huh.
door knocking. I've spent way more time cold calling and door knocking than I have, with social media
Right.
or SEO or Google
Going
AdWords.
back to this concept,
Yeah.
it's easier, like face to face.
Yeah. Yeah, for
There's something
sure.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, just connecting with that person directly. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just yeah, the lift off is just brutal.
That's crazy. So, what kind of people are you looking for? Like when you're fishing,
Mhm.
Max Fisher. I like
Yeah.
that. So when you're fishing, when Max Fisher's fishing,
Yeah.
what kind of like are you just you're finding business owners, like people who might have a need for a warehouse? Like those are the questions you're asking.
Yeah, so I mean, there are business owners who are looking to lease or purchase warehouses. You have investment groups that are looking to buy, say, warehouse business parks, or leased single tenant industrial buildings. Um, Developers looking for land to develop warehouses on. So there's kind of a vast group that you're kind of chasing after. Um, yeah.
And that's it. So it's not so much the like individual. businesses, because then you can catch bigger fish, right? Like somebody who
Mhm.
wants to develop something or something
Sure.
like that. Like,
Yeah.
but then there's also the business owners. Like, do you make money when somebody like leases a warehouse that's a part of a bigger warehouse building?
Yeah, so those are typically, like, I would call them like your singles and your doubles,
Uh huh.
is like your leasing. Of course, there are big leases out there
Is that a
too.
baseball reference, like a single double or a
Yeah.
single business? Nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, your sales are kind of your triples or your home runs, and then, every now and then there's, I think more in like
Grand
your
slam in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in your like really booming kind of cycles.
Right.
I think that's another part of this business is there are different types of cycles and trends.
Right.
I mean, you had like you had cannabis come in, there were cannabis deals being signed. Then you had the COVID shutdown, which then fueled e-commerce.
Yeah.
And so big distribution deals were being signed.
Right.
So you have all these different trends that hit the market. Like right now, I would say the trend is industrial outdoor storage. That's like the hottest thing.
Uh
And
huh.
so that's like outdoor storage for like fleets. You think about like Amazon, where are they gonna park all those, trailers
A
and
hundred percent.
trucks and
Yeah.
whatnot? And then like all your like building suppliers as we go through this residential boom, they need outdoor storage for storage of say pipe or um, whatever that material may be, steel or
Right.
whatever. So there's always some type of trend going on in the market, and there's always some type of also like boom and bust that comes with that as well. Um, and so I think part of that too is like weathering those different storms. Like, I started doing well in 2019 and then COVID hit
Right.
in March. And
Right.
it's like, boom, like your business is shut down. Like
Right.
no one's signing anything for
Right.
6 months. Um, and then you have the interest rate hikes, and then that kind of put a close on investment
Right.
sales because investment sales are directly correlated to the cost of debt.
Right.
Or you have the cost of construction skyrocket, and then which hit the land market, which stopped moving as much as it was like a few years ago. So there's always these different trends, and you don't quite understand it unless you're like in the weeds of it on a daily
A
basis.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting too. That there's different types of stuff that comes up, which is, I mean, we've been living through these trends now too. Like, I think that now seeing it over the past like 8 to 10 years, like we've got to actually experience what a real trend is.
Hmm.
Like whether it's a TikTok dance or
Yeah.
just the way that the economy is now making money. Like
Sure.
things change
Yeah.
and all of a sudden something's different. Because there was a time where like you even think about like, all right, we should like move a business into like even office people move into a warehouse and just make life easier. Like
Hmm.
um I don't know, there's just so much you can do with warehouse space that I feel like that is a little bit more universal opposed to like if people aren't showing up to office spaces anymore, then like what are you going to do next? And
Yeah.
so like you got people working from home, so that's a problem, but then
Sure.
also if you need space and you got to keep moving, like nowadays I feel like if it's you're not trying to figure out how to make money through influence, but even now like would you say that you see any people, maybe I'm just throwing a business idea out there, but like are people using warehouse for content spaces? Cuz like that's what goes on in my mind. Like how can I make a studio bigger? Like and
Not necessarily. I think warehouses here are usually they usually don't have air conditioning.
right,
They're usually evaporative cooled.
right,
So, um, you they're used for storing stuff or making stuff
right,
usually. And that's one of the reasons I like the
right,
market is because you're always going to need a place to make stuff. You can't just outsource making stuff into your spare bedroom.
right,
Also, same thing for like distribution. Everything has to be distributed. This microphone
right,
was distributed.
right,
It was made in a warehouse. It was distributed through a warehouse. All of your food that you buy, um, it was distributed through a warehouse.
right,
Just about everything. So I look at it as like the commodity of commercial real estate, and it's something that's always um, in demand.
right,
Now, those vacancy rates may change as different trends come, or the
right,
economy weakens, or it slows, or it ramps up, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, you have to have warehouses to make stuff and distribute stuff.
100%. 100%. That's exciting though. I think like warehouses are opportunities, and like if you have something like an idea on how to
Yeah,
get something out there, like
yeah.
I feel like that's a step in the right
And
direction.
it's one of my favorite parts about this business
Right.
too. Like, while I love doing, you know, triples and home run
Right.
deals, it's one of my favorite things is like to meet with, say, that plumber who him and his wife just started their business a year ago out of their house. All of his tools are like in the garage. Um, and they're taking that next step to have that office in the front and the warehouse in the back and hire that next employee or two,
Right.
and seeing how excited they are to move into that next spot. That's it's one of my favorite things about this business. I just love when people are taking that leap of faith
Right.
to go to that next level, to build their business, to chase their dreams. A lot of the times it's a family business,
Right.
husband and wife type of deal, and it's cool to watch.
Yeah, you're always somebody's cheerleader, like, you're rooting for them because it takes a lot of courage to try to go out there and
It's
put it
huge
all on
too.
the line, and you
Yeah,
know it from yourself because you 'cause you've been through the ebbs and flows now of
yeah,
betting on yourself on something specific, and
yeah.
they're doing the same thing out there.
Yeah, and I have so much respect for business owners and people who are taking that leap of faith to go off. It's really daunting to leave something that's steady to
Right,
go out and build something on your own. And while that has great rewards, it comes with huge risk.
right,
I mean, how many business owners out there, have had the ebbs and flows of the
right,
business, and that they still have those employees they need to pay.
right,
They've got people that depend on them.
right.
So I just have a huge respect for business owners.
Yeah, the line goes down, like, the people that are depending on them, then there's people depending on those people, so then
Yeah,
it just trickles down, and it's such a big impact on what's going on.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, that's exciting, dude. Speaking of that, like, the Bobby and RBY
yeah,
concept too, like, me just seeing what's going on so far and it's not even open yet, like, that in
right.
itself, like, the energy or the lives that they get changed, and this is something that's gonna happen within the warehouse space, like,
Yeah,
there's gonna be big emotions, like, people are gonna get, like, experience, they're gonna get life lessons, they're gonna get
yeah.
like mental fortitude, like so much is gonna come from, and like what energy is gonna pass through that space, like to like I think Dominic Cruz is coming for this like grand
Oh, that's
opening.
cool.
Like there's
Yeah,
a lot of people, a lot of names, all popping in like to Tucson
right.
that's coming in to be a part of that, and it's like something that you've had your hand on. Like you get
Yeah,
to be the bridge to opportunity, which
yeah.
is a pretty cool
Yeah,
thing.
I'm really stoked for that deal, and really happy for Roman and Bobby too.
Yep.
I know how much of an impact that Bobby and Jet Sports has had
Right.
on Tucson and specifically that side of town, and have a lot of respect for him. And I always see him roll up with his wife or his
Yep.
kids, and
Yep.
that's really cool too. So, and just seeing how much of an impact they've had on those kids, not only with the gym but
Right.
also with the nonprofit side of it.
Right.
And so it's really cool to see now Roman come in, open up his gym, and see the huge impact, all the different people that are going to be involved in it.
Right.
And I think it's just great for the town.
I think it's huge, man, especially that, like, we're just when you call it trends and stuff like that, like, Tucson trends, like, if you know about the wrestling community, like, in
Hmm.
itself. So, like, people that come from, like, at least, like, when Roman was a kid, like, that's when I known him, like, at 7 or something, and,
Uh huh.
like, to see that if you put your dedication into something
Yeah.
and you stay committed, then you can find success down the road. But then now to be able to lead the torch and show the way for other people, like it's really giving back to the community in a positive way, and I think that's what's special about the whole thing is that like Tucson needs more uplifting type stuff because we were talking about homeless people earlier and stuff like that, but like if we keep setting goals, we keep pushing into a thriving community, like high tide rises many ships, we're only going to get
Hmm.
better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the like the play we need to find. Like everybody has their own niche, but like how can you make it community centric and
Hmm.
outward focused and
Yeah.
focus on bringing just being your best, bringing other people up and then letting to see what the next trends look like in 10, 15 years from now from doing that cuz we only have this moment. We got to figure it out now.
For sure. Yeah.
That's exciting stuff, dude.
Yeah.
This a pretty cool like space that you get to be in.
Yeah.
And like kudos to you for taking the risk and doing what you're doing because it's whatever it's tough and daunting, like you pushing through, like you get to help people, like you're a bridge from A to B, like
Mhm.
you're getting people to set up to get after it, whatever that takes on your end and what people don't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talked about running on what you do for yourself and stuff like that. How about your family life? What is that like?
So my wife and my daughter, she's 2.5, and yeah, I mean, it's just been a great journey. Um, I don't know, just hearing your daughter say "dada" and give you a hug. I mean, I don't. There's nothing better than that. Very thankful for my wife, and she just does a great job um, raising my daughter, and yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain fatherhood, especially with a daughter.
Right.
I thought I would, want, we'll probably have more kids, but I thought, I want a boy next. I'm like, "Oh, I don't care if I just have daughters, man. Like,
100%, dude. I'm 3 daughters
you got
deep.
three of them,
I'm three
so
daughters deep,
yeah,
and you
they're
know
just the
what? Like,
sweetest thing."
I hear you, like in your voice. You can keep a tone, and you like that's what it takes, man. Like
Yeah.
I was explaining the dentist to my kid this morning, and like the tone I had to come from, like I had to sit eye level with her and let her know what we're doing, and watch her eyes tear up that we were going to the dentist today,
Uh huh.
and like I had to land the plane no matter what, so I couldn't like get frustrated and make it about me, like
Yeah.
all the things I got going on in my life, like none of that shit mattered. Like it was me staying connected with her,
Right.
getting her to where she needs to be, and we had a blast this morning. Like
Yeah.
we did the deed, we did hard things, we moved on.
Uh huh.
We went to IHOP and took her to school and had a good experience together. And it was
Yeah.
something that like sometimes with the boy, I feel like you just would tell him like get in the car, like we're rolling.
Yeah. Right.
Like
Yeah.
maybe that's easier in a way, and there's something
Yeah.
special about that too. But at the same time, some men are just blessed with girls, and
Yeah.
it's for a reason. Like
Yeah.
you get to work on how you communicate, and that's important because I think that communication and the way you use your words are the most powerful tool. Like we talk about fitness and we can be as strong as we want
Hmm.
mentally and physically, but when it comes
It's a
time to
different type of
communicate it,
strength. It's yeah.
it's not the inner war anymore. It's like
Yeah.
it's leading the war, and you got to be able to use your words.
Right. Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
I see it from that aspect. So yeah, good work, man. Father, husband, getting after it with the career and just making things matter, man. What else do you have like on your heart to share or anything like that?
um. I think running has been such a big impact on my life in that like and I like the endurance
Uh-huh.
side of it. So I've done some longer races. I've done 2 32 milers through the mountains. I've done a marathon and
32
then
miles?
some. Yeah, and I think it's just a great lesson in life and just like for example, a good friend of mine reached out to me um a couple years ago. He was going through it, man.
Uh-huh.
Like getting hit by everything,
Okay.
finances, um, family, health, all of it. And I was just like this is a very difficult chapter in that honestly it's not gonna get better right
Right.
now, but it will over time. Like
Right.
it's temporary. Just keep going.
Right.
Just keep that endurance going. And I think, it's kind of how my business has been and how I've made it through some challenging times. In that you keep going. There are chapters of life or business or whatever that are difficult, and you keep going, just one foot in front of the other. You're gonna hit that point in any type of endurance race. You hit a wall, and the best thing that you can do is just keep taking a step forward, even though it may not be as fast as your first mile or
Right.
your fifth mile when you
Right.
have runners high. You're gonna have runners low, and you're
Right.
gonna be hurting. Um, but just keep taking that next step and just keep going. I think I think that's the huge lesson there.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Fisher sharing his knowledge, his wisdom, his life testimony right here on the pavement of putting one foot in front of the other and just knowing that you're going to get there. So just keep pushing, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks for having me on, Stefan.